Step 6. Paul, our development lead, will have a look at the newly created defect from Jennifer and will add a further association to this defect. This is all done within TeamForge, so let's switch into TeamForge and have a look at the newly created defect. As you can see, there's already one association. This has been automatically created for the subversion commit Jennifer just did. Now Paul creates another association for this artifact. This is basically to show that you can not only create associations to commits, but also associations to any other artifact type within TeamForge, like project pages, discussion items, forums, and so on. We are especially interested in the development task and the user story, because these two are also part of the history of this defect. So we just click on Next and edit a comment, edit further related artifacts, and click on Finish. So that finally we have 3 associations for the newly created defect. In the final step of this demo, Rahul, the test lead within HP Quality Center, will update the defect Jennifer created. This is all done within the defects module of HP Quality Center. As you can see, the defect already got synchronized from TeamForge to HP Quality Center. So if you double click on it, you can also see that all associations created within TeamForge has been synchronized here as well, so that you just have to follow the links and you can have a look at the commit object as well as the other related artifacts. This demo will close by transitioning the defect from the open status to the closed status.
Thank you, Johannes. We'd now like to open it up for questions. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions here today during the session, but if for some reason we don't get to all of them on the line here, we'll be sure to follow up via email with the answers. Thank you. Okay, so just waiting on some questions here. This is Jim again. So please, if you've got any questions, please just type those in. Okay, they're starting to come in now. So the first one here, and this one's for Johannes. Why don't you take this one? And it's could you just better clarify, the visibility that you get, sort of the value here, in what the solution brings. So if you're in, this question's around if you're in Quality Center. Could you just better, just articulate, summarize again what visibility that you actually have into what's going on in TeamForge?
All right. So what I usually see in companies using HP Quality Center is that not every developer likes to work on Windows. So there are many developers outside, for instance, who just like to stay in the Linux or Mac OS environment. And they like to use Eclipse or Microsoft Visual Studio there, and they don't want to use Windows or always launch Internet Explorer to go into HP Quality Center. And with this integration, it's just possible that these folks can still stay in their environment and still participate in the global application lifecycle management. That is, they can communicate with the QA folks. They can communicate with the business analysts, with their project managers. And of course, it's also the other way around. So I know lots of project managers, they don't want to go into any mysterious bug tracking management system. They want to stay in their Quality Center product portfolio management application and do the work there. And everything that is communicating with the developers should just synchronize there, so that you don't have to worry about missing anything. And with this feature of linking every ALM artifact to any other ALM artifact, it's, for instance, possible that you just link the forum item where a user complains about a missing functionality to, let's say, a defect, so that everybody knows what they're actually coding. So the developer can see the forum item, so the mailing list request from the actual user, might even go back to this user and ask him for further feedback here, and everybody in the whole life cycle, including the testers, can see how all these artifacts are related, and they can really stay in their favorite environment. And often it's also the case that you don't have licenses in every tool. So your testers, for instance, have licenses for Quality Center, but your developers don't. So they stay in their environment, and you don't have to purchase a license for them just to look into the system. And of course, it's also the other way around. So if you have licenses, for instance, for Microsoft Visual Studio, you don't want to spend licenses on project managers who typically don't code and need all these fancy features, but who like to see what's going on, what's the current process. So now everybody can stay in their favorite tool, but can still benefit from the information shared across the whole ALM lifecycle.
Okay. Great, Johannes. Looks like we've got another one in for you here. And this question is, does the connector modules come with TeamForge for PPM, Quality Center, and QuickTest Pro, or are they separate from TeamForge?
So the connector does not come with CollabNet TeamForge, but it's open source. It's a free software you can just download from ccs.open.collab.net, and it features a graphical user interface, so you don't have to worry to set it up. This is all GUI-based. You can also do the graphical data field mapping there. And when I look at the other aspect of the question, this is about the modules we actually support. And currently in this solution, we support Quality Center defects and requirements and the hierarchy between requirements. QTP and PPM are only supported in a way that, for instance, if you have a workflow that ties PPM and Quality Center requirements together, like it is done in the HP Agile Accelerator, for instance, then this, of course, will be part of the solution. But currently, we cannot sync PPM-specific artifacts with this integration or automatically execute QTP tests after we build something. But this is the beauty of this whole solution. It's open source, and of course, we are looking for first adopters to get the feedback in order to know which functionality they like. So it's great to get the feedback, for instance, that you like to execute QTP as part of this whole lifecycle again as well.
Okay. Okay, I've got one here for Anker. Anker, this one's about the Agile Accelerator availability and if any future release plans you have for that, this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. Agile Accelerator from HP is available today. You can actually go to hp.com/go and find Agile Accelerator listed as one of the products for download. We have two versions of Agile Accelerator available. One that you can use just through a download. It works on top of HP Quality Center 10.0. And then for future releases, right now we are looking to extend our offerings in Agile space, but they will go beyond Agile Accelerator. One of the relevant things that I would talk about here is the question that is being asked on and on is, what do you mean by traceability? The three key things that we talk about here are business agility, traceability, and collaboration. So what do you mean by traceability? Well, today in Quality Center, we talk about traceability from requirements to tests to defects. And through a joint solution with CollabNet, one of the biggest things that we are giving our customers is four-way traceability. So now from requirements to code, from code to tests, from tests to defects, and then from defects to code, from requirements to tests. So there is this multiple many-to-many relationship with code fully integrated that gives our customers a great visibility and great advantage when they're looking at what kind of change impact are they facing when they do a certain round of fix or they do a new requirement development. That's what traceability means for us. So I think I answered two questions in that one.
That's great. Okay. Just just waiting on some other questions here. Let's see here. Okay, this next question is for Johannes. Johannes, is there any limitations to to the synchronization in terms of capacity or anything along those lines?
So when talking about this integration, you have to know that this is not just a prototype we just developed. Instead, it's a product we have developed at CollabNet since years. So we know some companies, for instance, who transfer and transform more than 200,000 artifacts per day over this integration. So it has started as a defect-to-defect synchronization, and now what has been added for this partnership was the requirement support. So the scalability up so far is pretty good, and we're also working on a facility now that you can also delegate administration of separate projects. That does mean if you have, let's say, 50 or 500 projects and they all have their integrations and data mapping set up, that you can actually delegate the administration functionality to different administrators so that you don't have to employ one guy who has to do a full-time job setting up all these integrations.
Okay, great. Actually, Johannes, one more for you. Seems like the majority of these are technical questions, but you're probably best to answer. The demo was complete using an Agile methodology. Can you clarify once again its usability in a waterfall type methodology and how how these two systems would integrate?
So as I've told in the demo, the HP Agile Accelerator comes with a predefined requirement type template, so with the properties in mind, and it's no problem to use completely different requirement types in HP Quality Center. So if, for instance, we're doing a typical waterfall model, we could just have something like plain requirements or functional requirements and non-functional requirements as requirement types. We could have documentation requirements. We could have test case as a requirement. So you can tailor it to your specific needs there, and you can also, of course, have different roles. So in a waterfall model, you typically have a project manager, and you have a test team, and you have a development team, probably also design team. So and they can use their favorite development environment, of course, or coding environment, and so you can transport and synchronize artifacts however they look like. So in the waterfall model, the only difference would be that probably the communication between the stakeholders will be a little bit different because typically you start doing the requirements and then the design and then the code, and you don't have these iterative cycles in between development. But still, it's possible if you extend this model, for instance, take the V model or the V model XT or Rust, that you can also include these iterative cycles in your waterfallish model and then use the communication facilities this synchronization provides you across development and project management tools.
Okay. Well, I think that pretty much does it for the questions. So I think we'll just end this session now. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We're very excited about this new partnership and the value that it brings to our joint customers. And to the extent there's any further questions that you may have, we've shown you on a previous slide how you can get access to this and start working with it. But if there are any other further questions, please contact us at the contact in the contact information here that was provided. So again, thank you very much for attending today's session, and we hope you're enjoying the rest of the virtual conference today as well. Bye-bye.